everyone. This is Rob. Hope you are having an amazing day today. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you'd please type the number 1 in the chat box. If you're following along on YouTube or any other social platform that we're on, let us know with the number 1 there as well. We greatly appreciate it. We want to make sure that everybody's able to hear us. Lots of 1 going in there. Thank you, Amy. Good afternoon, John. Hope you all having a good day. Good morning, Helen. Yes, I can hear you, Michelle said. There you go. Afternoon, Kevin. Good to see you, sir. There you go, Jeff, with his traditional 3. I like it. I like it. Good. Excellent, Brenda. I see that trading there. We'll call for those in a minute, but that is fantastic. Great job. As we go through here this morning, keep in mind that everything we look at is for educational purposes only. Nothing is meant to be advice or recommendations. Hey, let me see that. Hey, Raj, afternoon. Without my glasses on, I couldn't tell if it was Ray or Raj. I'm like, nah, let me put the glasses back on so I can actually see it. They make the font too small. Don't worry about it, Brenda. You're good to go. You're good to go. We got a lot of stuff coming up, folks. You got Trading You coming up on the 13th, which is Wednesday. You got Patterns in a Flash, which is 14th, which is Thursday. Tuesday night, I'm teaching Mastermind Group. You got Power Hour this week, today, and no Coach's Playbook. Right? Why? Friday is a holiday. It's Good Friday. The markets are closed. Markets are closed. We're closed. We only teach on days the markets are open. There will also be no market mornings on our YouTube show on Friday either. So just FYI, mark your calendars. That means expiration day is Thursday. All right. So you want to make sure you know that for well. And then April 21st is E-minis to the max. We don't have it on here. Jen missed it. I missed seeing that it wasn't there. Amy, can you drop the link in for Gap, Trading the Gap, which, guys, is this evening, tonight's class, Trading the Gap. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern. There you go. Appreciate that. Now, guys, you may have an issue logging in with it. I don't know. And here's what I'm getting at with this. We just got a message from the company that we use for our back end, our software, our CRM, told us that they're having a problem with one of the pieces of their software. It's preventing us from logging in and so forth. Right? I can still get into the members area of Wealth Builders. I can't get into what's called Entreport, which is where you get your emails and stuff from. So you may not get emails from us. We do get emails that come out automatically from Zoom, though. They come out at the end of the night, right before the class starts, an hour, I think, before. So, which is how I logged in here today, getting my Zoom link. So you should be okay to get in that class. So make sure you click on those links and save them, if anything, so you can always go back to it later. All right. E-mini Think Tank is good this week. Covered Call Explorer is good. I will be doing it on Thursday for Friday, whatever it is. There's no Friday trading, so you'll be using it for next week's. And then Power Option Plays is on the regular schedule this week also. Here's our Follow Us page. Make sure that you are following along with all the various social things that we do out there. There's tons of great stuff that goes up every single day. All right. And there's the Gaps class. So, guys, tonight's the last one. I talked last week. We were packed house. We had about 700 people registered the last I checked today for tonight's class. So it only holds 1,000 people. You want to get in there. We're going to put the replay up. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure yet what we're doing with it. We are recording it, but I'm not sure if the replay goes up or not. So you want to get in there and check it out, guys. It's always better if you're there live because you get to ask all the questions as well. All right. And we're not going to do that just yet. All right. So with that, let's go ahead. Hey, I wonder if you guys got a chance to check out the new homepage. How many of you have seen the new homepage? Like it, like what you're seeing there? I mean, this video was awesome. I am so stoked. Many of you are going to recognize yourselves in there as we go through. Trader Will typed in. He's right up front. There's Trader Will on my right in front of me there. Yeah, pretty cool. There's Roman. There's Scott. Right. Cousin's in the picture there. Right. It was a great class, guys. And we had about 5 or 6 cameras going at all times between video and still shots. And there's the graduating class of Charting Your Way to Success. And that was Will leading the pack. And there's Bill and Robert and Scott and so on. So anyway, I'm excited for what the new website looks like, guys. There's lots of opportunities if you're a beginning trader, intermediate trader, experienced trader, to kind of walk in there and get some help of where you belong or what you should be doing. You know, what's your next steps. You know, there's some testimonials in there. I love these guys. They're awesome. Strategy session. I know Amelia's got a bunch booked already. Why us? Well, that probably doesn't look right. That function, blah, blah, blah. Amy, can you send a note to Sean, please? I'm not sure if he's in here with us right now, but send a note to Sean and take a look at what makes us different. Thank you. What makes us different? We do functions, I guess. I don't know. Three-prong approach, right? Guys, there's just so much, right? It's a great page. I'm loving the way we set it up. So hope you like it. Let me see. I saw a couple of numbers go across in there. Let's see. Excellent. Yep, I like it. Video is always better than static photos. You're not kidding, Will. I love it. Afternoon, Derek. John, yes, liked the video. Cool. Can't wait to come out there again. Yeah, Will, we and I'm guessing, let's see, is Amelia in here with us today? I don't think so. I think it's just Amy and I. I don't know if I said it or not, Will. We did in Mastermind last week. So for those that are in Inner Circle and Mastermind that weren't in last week's class, was it last week? Yes, maybe Amelia teaches tomorrow night, and not me. But those that were not in last week's class, in the Mastermind group, we're going to add in the Mastermind, we're going to add a live event in New York 1 day a year, which was not part of the Mastermind group. We're finalizing all the details of the new Mastermind of how we're going to lay it out. So we're going to add one full day here in New York that we'll be teaching. I'll get a hotel room somewhere, you know, a seminar room, and we'll teach out of that. And for those of you that are here, Roman, Will, Robert, so forth, we're going to add a fifth day, full day to the Inner Circle, and we're going to combine them together. Right now, since we don't have, not everybody wants to travel. So I figure if we get some of the people from Mastermind, some of the people from Inner Circle, we'll get a decent sized group in there together. So we're not teaching to, a half a dozen people or something. And these groups are not huge groups, guys. They're purposely, for those that are not there, they're purposely meant that way. We want to keep them smaller because it is very intimate, very unique, the way that I've set them up. That's the way my own masterminds are. They're very small in size. So if you guys are in Inner Circle and Mastermind, look for that to come out soon, Will. So that should be something you see. Trip is teaching tomorrow. Okay, good. All right, excellent. Let's see, Derek, updated website looks awesome. It makes you want to be part of it in person. Trader Will, that's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. When is the class? Yeah, Roman's like, when is the class? When is it? When? We don't have a date on it yet, Roman. I'm still working on it. We just announced it last week. Yeah, Paul, something wrong with the website right now. We're having problems because we should be able to log into Wealth Builders, but we're having problems with our back end, which is Entreport. That's not working properly. So if my phone does go off, guys, as it just did, if I see a text message, I'm going to go look real quick just in case it was something that was related to what we're doing here, which is the website issues. Roman, I'm always excited to go to New York and see you in person. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, website problems, supply chain failures, it's all part of it, right? It's a Russian attack on our website. I don't know. All right. Goodness gracious. So what trades have you guys done today? What trades have you guys done today? Drop them in. I want to see what you've done. I mean, very, very much off the bat, right? I get started here today. I turn on Zoom, and I log in, and I see a message from Brenda, $316.94, one contract on the Qs, the 352 put, held over from Friday, bought to open at 378 and sold to close at 729. So Brenda, let me show you how, since you had made the comment. She said, sorry, but I don't know how to calculate the rate of return. Well, simple enough if I teach it to you, right? So let me get a piece of paper here. And basically, what are we going to do? We've got to find out what our profit was, right? So if you got 792 and we take away our original cost, which was 378, our profit was 414, right? That's the profit on the Qs is what you made, $4.14 per share, right? So now, Brenda, if you go ahead and say cash in your pocket, was $4.14, divided by cash out, which is $3.78. That's 109. We're going to go with 110. 110% rate of return, Brenda. Great job. Doesn't hit the $1,000 for a home run, but as far as I'm concerned, that's an absolute home run. Great job. I'm at home today, no hammer, right? I was going in the office until we had problems with the website, and I've been chasing my tail on some of that today, which gave me very little time at all to trade whatsoever today. Thank God I did about 12 trades on Friday. I'm not really worried about chasing after it. All right, so let me bring this back down. I don't know where we left off. Let's see. All right. There you go. Nothing like ocean out here, Will. You'll have a lot of fun there. All right, website problems. Yep, Derek, we're definitely having some problems on the website. Again, it's not us, it's not our software, it's the company we use for our back end, which shouldn't prevent you from getting in the website. It should just prevent you from getting in on getting emails is all we really should have an issue with. But maybe their issues have extended because they are where we host our servers and all that as well. So all right, SPY up 75% for Will. Great job. Karen, there you go. There you go. Shopify, $800. One contract, scary spreads. No kidding, which is why I said it this morning, right, Karen? If you missed it in the market mornings, Shopify announced a proposed 10-for-1 stock split, just like a Google, just like an Amazon. They're going after that big split, right? Just like a Tesla. They're going after these big number splits. That'll take them down to about $60 a share. I think they're splitting too much, but they're using it, in my opinion, to hide what's really going on. That split will also increase what they call the executive share of voting rights. So like Google has 1 share equals 9 voting rights for the insiders. They didn't say what the number would be, but assume it to be 10 just to make up a number. I mean, so every 1 share you have versus every 1 share the CEO has, he gets 10 voting rights. So his 1 share weighs as much as your 10 shares do. Now there's speculation of maybe he wants to sell some of his shares off and still maintain that full control over what happens in the company. And there's theories of, who am I? I own 1 share of stock. Who am I to vote and have any say in the company whatsoever? I don't know anything about the company, right? So there's always some of that, right, out there. But then again, the other side of it is there's talk with Elon Musk that if he really wants to push to be on the board of Twitter and they don't want him to, or whatever happens, they disagree, he's going to reach out to his Twitter followers or his followers, period, and say, hey, folks, help me out. Go buy a share of Twitter and vote my way. Which, if that's the case, Elon Musk can now become the new CEO of Twitter without a doubt. But good job, Karen. And I agree. Those spreads are scary. That's the one good thing about the split. PK said another AM Krispy Kreme run for the 94-year-old man. You're a good person, PK. You really are. Let's see. Trader Will said another put up 280. Great job. You got it, Brenda. Good job. FedEx, $1,300. Excellent, Karen. Phenomenal. I'm loving this. Donald, SPX long put and spread up $2,000 right now this morning, folks. $2,000. Woo. PK said no market mornings or trading. Yeah, no, you got the Krispy Kreme run to do. So Debbie said, I have someone asking how to get in this class. I received an email. Is there another way to get in? Amy, can you drop in? Can you help out Debbie there? See if you've got the link from Amelia on the direct that went out in the email today for people to just come register. That would be helpful. Yeah, PK said, congrats to all the traders. I love that, folks. That's the nice thing about market mornings. I love the congratulations and the thank yous people put out there all the time for that. So I'm really, really stoked there. All right. So good job, everybody. I have been chasing my tail, as I just stated, all morning long with craziness here, things that I really don't want to have to deal with. But when the website's down, the website's down. I'm in. I mean, I'm all over it, trying to fix it. Yeah, Brenda said, thank you there, PK. So here's a trade that Amelia did today on the Qs. There you go, Brenda, right up your alley. on the Qs. And if you look, right, we got 932.44. So the bottom line there of the screen right here, right? Let me get something maybe a little bit darker. Let's just use black. That's not black. They lied. I hate when people lie to me. Now, it's black. Okay. So we bought to open 13 contracts, Amelia picked up of the Qs, and they're the weeklies that expire on the 11th. Let's see, when's the 11th? That would be today. Yes, 3 times a week, these options expire. So let's get to that in a moment, right? 3 times a week, right? So we got the 347 put. She went ahead and bought that option, bought to open at market at $3.16. I'm going to make it easy and make it $3.15. Okay, just to make math real simple. Okay, 2 minutes later at 9:36, remember she bought, and it's on this candle right here. She bought put options as it had closed below her key level there, came back, retested and failed. She bought the puts. Okay, put right there. And in the next candle, she sold the 347 puts at 390. Well, if you bought them at 15 and sold them at 90, that's 75 cents, right? So let's do this. I got that calculator still around somewhere. So if we say you got 74 cents times 100 shares with one contract. Okay, I need a decimal. 0.74 times 100 is $74 times 13 contracts, $962. I would venture to say that many of you could afford to not have to go back to work if you had a $962 day. If you could do that 2-3 days a week, you probably could afford not to go back to work. I'm just guessing. Now, I realize there's some that make more than 3 or 4 grand a week. And you may need more contracts than 13 to get there, right? Yeah, PK, Amelia is hitting it. Great trade. Yeah, awesome, Amelia. There you go. Well, Helen, at least you got in, so that's good. At least you're able to make it in. We definitely have a little bit lighter group today, so may have something to do with the problem there. Yeah, it's just really fast. You know, in at 32, out of 36, 4 minutes. Fantastic. I mean, just great move there. Okay. You guys did well on your trades. Amelia did hers. I did a bunch of covered calls last week and diagonals on Friday, so I was already caught up. Gold was a great one from last week. Halliburton we got last week, and we did Fridays and then sold this week's, so already in that trade. Did the Iron Condor on the Russell, did a couple of diagonals, Dollar Tree and so forth. So overall, very happy with what we came up with at the end of the week. I'll look a little bit this afternoon. I've got one more meeting left today, and then I've got the rest of the afternoon to trade. So I'm definitely excited for that, right? So as we look, right, can the Fed stop inflation? Right? That's the magic question right now. Can the Fed have an effect on this? And I don't have the slide that I used it in one of our mastermind presentations. I don't have it with me right now. I would have to look to try to dig it out, and I don't know exactly where it is. But if you go back to 2000 and 2008, okay, both of those were the crashes, right, that we hit, okay, market crash, right, Y2K, the housing bubble, right? You can count, if you wanted to, you could add in the COVID for COVID-19, but not the same type of reasoning, okay? Both of these patterns, the interest rate was very low, 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%, somewhere around there. It was very low interest rate. And the Feds very quickly, in a 6 to 12 months, I think it was between the two of them, between 6 and 12 months, went from, let's call it 1% to either 5 to 6%. I think one of them might've been 6.5, but somewhere between 5 and 6%. And this is pre getting to those years, okay? And that increase, trying to thwart off inflation, all that stuff, that increase is what was the start of this break to the downside. Now, would Y2K still have happened? Yeah, probably. Would the housing debacle still have happened? Yes. Those happened, okay? And the Fed was trying to work their way into a number, and they had this dramatic increase in interest rates. All I'm saying is we got a recent Fed announcement that says, and I quote, it looks like to offset inflation, we're going to have to go with half-point increases for the next couple of increases. We did not do this very steady, slow, methodical, let's raise rates. And we've been talking about this now for a while with things going up in price and so forth. I have extra COVID cash laying in my account is gone. I have people that I listen to day in and day out. We had company last evening. Yes, I got to use my pizza oven last night. But we had company last evening. The husband is a great guy, hard worker, right? Runs well, I'll just say a company, okay? During the day, and he also has a trucking license, and they need him to drive at night on weekends, and now he's driving overnights. Every weekend, he's got one night that he drives. He leaves the house at 9 o'clock at night. He gets home at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, so he leaves on Friday night after he's just worked the full day. He's driving a truck. There goes safety, right? He's driving a truck, and then he's out working overnight, and then has to get up again for Monday morning to get ready to rock and roll, right? So he's working to make all this extra cash. The cash is great, but you're not putting in all these hours just because you want to make extra cash. You're putting in the extra hours because you need the extra cash, right? I mean, you got to see your family. You got to be able to sleep. You got to be able to live, right? He's a great guy, but very tired as he got here yesterday, right? And I know from talking with them and so many others that money is just not there. It has become so critically tight, which is why this industry, this business is so important, because your job is not going to give you the opportunity to do what we do here. They're not going to give you the opportunity to earn that extra cash. You know what the extra cash is at your job? You exchange hours for dollars. That's it. Hours for dollars. Guys, we are in the business of education. We teach people how to trade, right? I know that if I were to sit down with one person one-on-one, I could make a lot more money one-on-one than trying to do a power hour, as an example, right? Where everybody pays a small amount, a few $100s for a quarter, and they get access to the same information. But I would have a very limited scope of who I would be able to reach. So we choose to do broad education like this. If you do a college course in a college, I'll have to come here to New York every week, twice a week, for 2 hours. You have to sit in a classroom with me. Well, that doesn't work anymore, right? Things have changed. Numbers have changed. Money has changed. People don't have this extra cash laying around. This industry is one of the very few. Go do real estate right now. Tell me where you're going. Are you going to find some deals? Yeah, you'll find some. But my goodness gracious, I got real estate investors in here that are like, nope, I want out. It's not what I do. It's not what I want to do. It's gotten so expensive, so costly. My 2 daughters want to buy a home in Florida, like a vacation type place that they can rent out on Airbnb, right? And go there and use it for themselves a couple of weeks a year. But looking at things now, it's crazy. My youngest, who still lives at home, like, Sabrina, just keep saving your money. Keep saving your money, putting it away, stacking it away, right? And when prices come down, see, the thing about it is, if Amazon is too expensive, go trade Home Depot. Home Depot is too expensive, go trade Roku. Roku is too expensive, go trade Telray. Guys, you've got choices. You don't have that. Is the Fed going to stop inflation? If they jack interest rates up like they have in the past, and that 5 to 6% up to, getting it up between 5 and 6%. If they jack them up very quickly to there, my expectation is, if we follow suit on 2000 and 2008, we will see the 2022 be the rollover there. Could be 23, could be the end of 22 into 23. It depends what it takes to get us to that 5 or 6% at a half a point. If they do 4 or 5 interest rate hikes, and then who knows if they could stop there. They may feel they have to do a higher hike. Hopefully, Hopefully, we do not get into some of the giveaway programs where the government is just bailing out businesses and just putting huge dollars into businesses' pockets, because that will not work. Didn't work the last time. 2008, banks made out like bandits. They got so much money, they were getting interest-free loans from the government, and they weren't giving loans out to consumers. What good was it? They were supposed to give out the loans. Why do I give you a loan to the bank if you don't give the loan out to me, right? And if you go back to 2008, if you take all the money that was given to big business and divide it up, the average person that was 18 years old or older in the US, if you gave it to the individual instead of the business, each person would have got $300,000. I tell you what, I would have done a lot better with it. I mean, what would you have done what would you have done with $300,000 if the government handed it to you? Drop it in. What would you have used the money for? Let me know. What would you have used the money for? Everybody got shy. Okay. Whoops. Oh, dang, it's moving too fast. Diane said, many of the under 35 crew are at a loss for money. Look at the kids with a law degree working at Starbucks. Oh, yeah, and that's a given. Ask me about Raj. Ask me Amgen later when we get to that part. Yeah, Chris said pop. John said investing. Brenda said put money in my trading account. Chris said put the money in pop. Right? More trading was Will. Make $3 million. Invest in myself. Derek, that is probably the best answer that anybody could give. Right? When do you start to see the largest growth of small businesses? When companies stop employing you, right? When big layoffs take place, big downturns take place, is when the individual steps out. We have a good friend of ours at our church, great guy, hard worker, made really good money at working for a company, went out on his own, started, it's an engineering type firm. He's crushing it right now, crushing it at this point, okay? What triggered it? Downturns just like this, right? How many new businesses do you see out there because of the downturn that took place from COVID, right? Buy a house, debt reduction and education in the market. There you go. Invest in the market. Grow it with what you teach us. There you go, Trip. Let's see. Trading. All right, Arnold. Add to my Roth trading account. There you go, Laura. Pop with full contracts. All right, Will. Michael said, paid my debts, buy a house, invest in my education. There you go. Evelyn said, let's see, buy land in Texas and homestead, rest. Okay, so part of it, buy land, rest of it, get a good PC, internet, fund, pop account to support lifestyle. There you go. Guys, and gals, right? Everybody's guys to me. It's just the easier phraseology. Folks, yeah, it's okay. I use that occasionally, but when you look at it, bottom line is the Fed going to stop inflation? Can they stop inflation? They can do things to thwart it off, but I don't see the Fed the way they're talking now. I don't see the Fed with Powell. I don't see him and them with these increases that they're doing are going to thwart it off. I think there are other tools in their toolbox they should have used already and have not. I understand the start of the war with Russia and Ukraine. They chose to hold off and not raise rates. There was concerns. I get that. And, definitely a good reason to do so, right? But there are things that we should have been doing all up to this point, and we have not, right? So, and then on top of that, the expression, the fish stinks from the head, right? You can do all the great things that you want to as the Fed, but the head, the president, right? If they're not doing the things they need to do, it doesn't matter, okay? I don't care how much you raise interest rates. Yes, pay me a higher rate, but what people forget, think about this, they forget, I have money in the bank. You're now going to pay me not 1/4%, but 3/4%. Heck, I'm going to say you got a really good bank, they're going to pay you 1% a year. You've got $100,000, they're going to pay you $1,000, right? Well, Rob, I don't have $100,000. I know most people have a few hundred to a few $1,000, right? You got $10,000, you're going to get paid $100. okay, for the year, for keeping your money in the bank. The bank in turn is going to lend it to somebody else at 12, 15, 25% with really bad credit, right? Make a bundle, a killing, while they tell you keep it there so we keep paying the interest on it, right? That's important. So yes, you'll get more money, but what are we missing? The average credit card debt from a person in this country is over $60,000 or 30,000. I forget the number now. I just saw it recently. Let's call it $30,000. You paying a lot more than $100 on interest for the year for that credit card. Extra by the interest rates going up. So yeah, you're offsetting and giving me more on what I earn, but since my debt is higher than my asset for many people, you're going to be paying more than you're taking in. Not to mention cash sitting in the bank at a 7% inflation rate, you're losing 7% a year. So by the way, the 1% they're paying you, no. Can they stop inflation? It's too late. We have not yet figured out how to step in and fix this the right way, right? We tend very politically, we've got to wait for a certain amount of quarters and a certain this and a certain that before we can start putting in these measures. I think the Fed needs to be allowed. I think the Fed needs to act more independently than it is. It really doesn't report to the government. It goes into Congress and testifies, but who controls the Fed? It's the private banks. They control the Fed. They make all the decisions. Once the Fed is appointed, there's really not a whole lot they can do, right? So let's see. Pay off my grandkids' school loans. There you go, Leslie. Awesome for you. Yeah, I cannot. Michael said it makes us poorer. Damn the feds. Yeah, listen, folks, people, ladies, gentlemen, everybody, bottom line is you can't rely on an outside source to pay you for a job. You can't. You have no idea what's going to happen. God forbid, a COVID type thing hits again. Right now, the likelihood of another shutdown here in the US is pretty slim with the midterm elections coming up. It would not bode well for one side versus the other if they did another shutdown. We're forcing people to stay home. The labor pool and all of that type of stuff. Listen, I'm not opposed to the union. I think there's nothing wrong with a union, but you can't tell somebody, a company, the federal government, the president cannot say you're going to get benefits if you have a union shop versus if you don't. That's a mistake. How do you take a Tesla and penalize them because they pay their employees well and they don't have a union shop? They treat them okay, because if they don't, they should be unionized, right? If the company is bad and not doing the right things. So again, there's the fish, the phraseology in Italian is the fish stinks from the head. The head is Biden right now. Most politicians are in the same place. They make choices, right? Not everybody's going to like them. You know, I have no political affiliation where if I was elected president, which I don't want, but if I were elected president, I don't owe anybody anything. So me just going in there and wiping people out and saying, you're fired, we're getting rid of this, I'm opening a lawsuit up against you, you're going to jail. I would clean house just like I would with any other company that I've ever worked for. One of my specialties was fixing broken companies. And I never, ever, ever, I would ask when I went in, is there a sacred cow here? And you better have a damn good reason for me to tell me that that person has to stay. And if the reason, which most of the time it was product knowledge, great. Then we're going to download their brain to somebody else and get rid of them if they don't work. We're going to get that product knowledge. And I've seen all kinds, folks. I had a guy that worked for me. He was a tool and die maker, and he wrote documents in Russian. He developed his prints in Russian. And he told me, you can't fire me. I hired a translator and had him fired. And when I said I fired him, but I hired a translator to translate his documents. So what? He's not the only one that speaks Russian. Others do as well. It's not about job security because that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, you're right, BK. For sure. Michael, you're 100% right. All right. So Fed inflation, guys, you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to suck it up, Buttercup. So what does that mean? Learn how to trade, learn how to take advantage of this. This is where life is tough right now. You're busy because of the money situation. You're trying to put in some extra overtime at work, and I applaud you for it, right? But you've got to figure out where to fit in trading, and you really have to get serious about it. There is no time anymore for playing a game with this because in the next 2 years, the decision is going to be made for you. Some of you are going to get wiped out because you just can't keep up with it because you're too busy trading hours for dollars. And others are going to see that you're working less hours because of what's going on in the market and trading, right? So there you have it. All right, my spiel on the Fed and inflation. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the trades the candidates you guys want me to look at today. Drop those puppies in and let's see what we come up with for today. Did we get some more people in here? We did. We're still light though, as compared to where we normally are. Yuri, you got a hand up. Not sure if you had something there. You could type it in the chat box if you do. All right, let's start off. Brenda is asking for, let me switch this over. QQQ. All right, now, and I mean now, watch. QQQ. Right, I closed down the option chain already. Let me open this back up. Give me a second. It's just TradeStation. Okay, Yuri, perfect. Just making sure. All right, so let's go look somewhere else. First, let's come back. All right, QQQ. Oh, I must have clicked on something. All right. So here, I told you, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have options expiration for the Qs and the SPY. So April 11th, Monday. April 13th, Wednesday, but we're closed Friday. So what did they do? We don't want to lose out on the volume. April 14th, Thursday, right? The final trading day of the week. They're pulling it forward now when Friday is closed. So they're making it Wednesday and Thursday. You've got 2 expirations in a row. So you still get both, all 3 opportunities during the week to trade. All right. So I absolutely love that about them. So happy. Yeah, PK, you're right. Brenda is a boss with Qs. Qs, SPY, she's doing well with both of them. So let's go back and look over here, Brenda, since I already opened it up. And we had a big gap to the downside today. Do we need it? 34 to 47 is 13 points. I do not need me a Fibit. So we're okay. So Brenda, this has to be, from the gap that you took on the trade from Friday is great. But for today, I need a pivot point move, or I need to move back up to that 347 level. And right now, we're at 342.5. So we've got a little bit of work to get back up there again. So I'd be cautious on this. Becomes more of a wait for me, Brenda, than it does a trade. Okay. Brenda's also asking for SPY. SPY right now is at 441.5. Right, which is where it's showing there. Brenda, we're almost at support. Actually, where was our low? 441.49. So we bounced slightly off of that low. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, what do I want, Brenda? I want it to close below the $440.79 level today. Tomorrow, I'd like it to retest and fail. Right, that would be the ideal setup at this point. Right, we have shifted. I made a decision on power option plays. We did a trade. We did a trade this week on power option plays. It was on Amazon. I want to say it was $8,000 or $9,000, $10,000 hit that on a trade we held overnight. Had we closed it out as a day trade the day before, we would have been up. I think it was 16 grand, 16.8 or something like that. Instead, we gave 10 grand back to the market by holding it overnight. Right, so I made a decision again for now that we're just going to stick with our day trades on it. They're working extremely well. I couldn't ask for a lot better than what we're getting right now. And it's just we're crushing it, literally crushing it. Here, let me see if I can find the document from this week. Let me see where it opens up. I'll share with you a page listen, I've never been shy about saying these are the companies we trade in power option plays, right? Listen, if I told you that in my grandma's secret recipe for her tomato sauce, all the ingredients that were in there, you could play around and figure it out, right? Or try to figure it out. But unless you know the exact measurements and when to put each one of them in, because for her, a certain spice had to go in 5 minutes before the sauce was done. She felt if you put it in sooner, and she was right, it gave a different flavor. So giving you the ingredients doesn't mean anything. Giving you the symbols doesn't mean anything. How you trade them, what you do is important. So I've never been afraid to share this with someone who goes, oh, I don't need to join power option plays because I've got the trades already, the companies to trade. Okay, but you have to know the how, right? So with that, I don't have a problem sharing stuff like this, right? This is the very first quarter of 2022 of how we did on each and every symbol that's on our list. Amgen is no longer on our list, but we had it in the beginning of January. This was a change log thing that we took it out, replaced this one out, but we still had one trade go off on it. Other than that, we only had 2 companies that went against us as a total, which, between the 3 of them, there was $3,000, basically, was our hit in the market, to the downside. Everything else was to the upside, okay? You could see how we did on Adobe, how many trades we took, 6 trades, 4 winners, 2 losers, no break even, almost $22,000 on Adobe to the account. Average trade of those 6 was $3,665. We put a closing price on there. Will actually helped me with all of that, reading those out to me live in our Mastering the Trade last week. Percentage of P&L, Adobe made up 4% of the entire P&L. And then we went ahead and took options pricing. I show the dates right there. We went back and took the pricing there, which puts us at about a 23-ish VIX, I think is what we chose, right? Just to give you an indication of if I'm trading Netflix, you see this one down here, 15.25. That's what it would cost me on a Monday for an option. Would it cost me 7.25 for the same option on Friday? $88 on Monday for Amazon, $33 on Friday for Amazon, right? So we take all the candidates, we go and do all the measurements. This was put out there. Again, guys, the opportunities are there. It's a matter of trying to capitalize on them, right? How do we do that? We find the right setup. When we look at SPY, would there have been a trade intraday today? Well, if there were pivot points, yes. If we're looking at where it gapped down to in the middle of nowhere and there's no pivot points, no, not for me. That doesn't mean there aren't other people that have systems that work. Not my system. My system very much requires a clear and concise entry. Otherwise, let me see. He's still here. He is. Otherwise, Roman, how does it normally work for you when you break the rules? Trip, how does it normally work for you when you break the rules? Right, and I'll let them answer and come on back with it. Yeah, Brenda chimed right in, says you get slammed. Jeff said, usually a problem. Yep. Okay. Joan, breaking the rules, not good. Amen to that, Joan. So caution on SPY, Brenda. All of that to say I'd be very cautious on SPY at this point, okay? Yeah, breaking rules break your head, right? That was Vaskin, my mentor, said, you break my rules, I break your fingers. And I think he was part Russian mafia, so I think he would have done it. For sure, for sure. All right, let's go look at Roku. That's John. Roku. All right, let's see where we are with Roku. So Roku right now in the middle of nowhere land, meaning I don't have a fib level that I can bounce off of. Once again, pivot points. You've got 120 as resistance. We're sitting at 115.5. You know, John, if I could get a push up there and a fail, how nice would that be? Right off of the confluence with the 8 exponential moving average, the pink line. Right there. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on, get up there. Ideally, close there and fail, John, and I'll be all over it. Brown on rice, baby, like brown on rice. All right, I hope that helps, John. Let me know. Trader Will is asking for AMD. Jumping ahead at Trip. Wow. Let's see. All right. So AMD, wow, what a gap down, huh? Nice gap down. And then a good fail. I mean, it just ran. So I'd want to see the retest of that 99, Will. 99.35 level and the fail. So 91.5 to 99.5 is $8, right? Yeah, I don't need a fib in there. So 91.5 is our next target, but not without a retest and a fail. Could it just continue gapping and running to the downside and it never retests? Yep. But Rob, what if you miss it? There'll be another trade tomorrow. Just that setup doesn't work well for me. I don't take it, right? I would rather avoid it like the plague than take that type of a setup personally. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. That's personal preference. I know what my risk profile is, right? Will is also asking for MCHP. All right, so it looks like it got a little bit of a bounce already today, Will, but let's see. Low, 65.19. Yeah, so we're talking about 40 cents away from that support level. It hit it as far as I'm concerned, right? If we got a close near in the bounce on a 5 or 1 minute candle, absolutely, right? But right now, you've got a clear path up to 69.5. You've got 65 to 69 is 4.5. You've got enough room. It's got a $5.50 fibit. So you've got enough room, but in an ideal world, I would rather see it will come back and close near and bounce from there. Now, if you took the intraday trade, the bounce off it, great. But if you're not in it yet, I'd need to get back near it again. I hope that helps. Yeah. As John Askaroff asks, are you interested or focused? Yeah, and it, PK, it comes down to, as an example, is this a job or a career? We hire people here at Wealth Builders. If this is not what you are meant to do, if you don't want to do this and you're just spending time here, you're not the right person for us. Everybody deserves a job. They just don't all deserve them here, right? We are very clear up front what we're looking for and what our expectations are, right? And I know, listen, guys, I know the difference. When I get the emails at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night from people on my team that they're still doing something, or, oh, I had this thought, right? And I didn't just, wait until tomorrow. If I remember tomorrow, I'll bring it up. No big deal. I get those. That's what I look for. That's the type of dedication and commitment that I want for our team, right? And that's what it is. Are you interested or are you focused? Is it a job? Is it a career? Right? And for your job, it should be a career, but for now, it should be a short-term career, right? You want to possibly move on to do other bigger and better things. All right. So Raj is asking for Amgen. So, well, I hope that was helpful. Let's get a bigger picture. All right. So this fib is old. We've got a good, strong thrusting pattern right now. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to. Yeah, that'll work for now. We'll get a new one shortly as this thrust pattern runs out of steam. Oh, yeah, look at that. Ha! Look at the wick. Raj, look at that. Right up to that 258.76. And our fibit is 874. We've got $8.76 inside of here. Not required to split it, Raj, but I probably would, just because of it being so tight in this market. I probably would set it up there. But I'd like to pull back to the 250, Raj, and the bounce and bring us up to the 258 again. Just like you had, we closed here a couple of days ago. We came back and broke down, came up. If that was an intraday retest and a bounce, because we closed right there the day before, I'm all over it. It was a B trade, not an A trade. Right? Could have been yesterday on a pullback and a bounce, depending on where the close was, intraday candle. But that's the setups that we're looking for. That's it. I mean, Amgen's looking great, right? And what a strong move up. Careful with earnings. You got to confirm dates. This just says it's that date. That all that means is it's the last one the company has announced. The company may have not confirmed yet, so be careful there. All right, Raj, I hope that helps. Derek said, Lowe's, I missed the trade at the start. Just been so busy this morning with other commitments. Would have been a great trade. And Lowe's, which one do I have here? Today's. Okay, so I got 2 sheets here yet. I got to record all the trades from them. Lowe's was on our market mornings today. Somewhere over here. Right there. Right, second line. Can you see it now? No? Okay. So we were looking at the CFO leaving. We were at a bear call spread above 207. If you trade Lowe's, directional trade would have been for sure. Could have done. Excuse me. Come on. All right. So we pushed up, got the fail. Okay. So that fail off that 206.49 level. Right. We're looking at bear call spreads above 207. Karen said it's only about the right setup. That's all it is, right, Karen? That's all we really care about. Yeah. Yeah, Trader Will said Amgen's earnings are less than 21 days away. Thank you for that, sir. All right, let's keep going. Tripp's asking for Vail. Trip, you should be asking Will about Vail, not me. He lives there, or in Colorado anyway, right? Or Scott, right? They're both from there. So what do we got? Ooh, I don't know who they are. Material Steel. Wow, I am really out of this, guys. I used to know all the steel makers, all of them, because that was my industry. Yeah, don't know. But right now, Trip, it's a low price stock. Drawing a fib on it's going to be tough. This fib is violated already down here. This one maybe here, which is not going to have a very big number on it, meaning the difference of the 2 fib lines. The heck did that happen? All right, let's see. Yeah, 1912, 1963. It's just a little bit too tight, Trip, but that's the fib. We're in a bullish neutral bias. I'd love to see it back above the 20.25. 21.29 would be our next target, Trip. Sorry, Will, didn't know what company you're talking about. Zero line trade on which symbol. Trip's also asking for Micron on post earnings trade. So 68.5 to 74.5, 426. So we don't need a fib in there, Trip, but we're in the middle of nowhere. So because the moving averages are all bearish in bias, I'd love to move back up to 74.5 and a fail for me to take that bearish entry on Micron. All right, hope that helps. You're welcome. Well, Paul said, example on Tesla, had a fib line at 1016 below Friday's close. All right, so let's go to Tesla. 1016, got it. Okay, Paul. 1016 below the close at Friday, close at 1025. Next fib at 1007. I don't have it unless you have a fibit in there. I don't have a fib line at 07, Paul, but okay, let me see if I can figure it out. It gaps way down at the open this morning, but it bounces back to the 1007 fib line. So, I don't have an 07 in there, Paul, so it's hard for me to see where you're coming from with it, but let's see if we can answer the question. At 10 o'clock and fails, could I have taken a put at that time? So large gaps, Paul, through a fib line. In other words, it closed between 2 fib lines Friday, and it gaps below a Fibonacci level. If that's a large gap, comes back and retests, you could take the trade, but you have to consider it aggressive. Because I want smooth. I'm not looking for this jagged edged trade where I got all these little spikes sticking up and I can get cut, right? And we just don't know how traders are going to react to a 13-point move to the downside. It could have been a sheer overreaction and a snap right back up, right? That slow and steady move. Keep in mind what happens. You had a gap down and a retest and a fail, okay? You take that trade. that retest could be nothing more than a head fake of bears trying to continue to push it down. And all of a sudden you go and you have a $5 or $6 move over the next 10 minutes in candle, right? Of candles. And you get this huge move to the upside. Your puts, you bought the put in the right place as it rolled off of resistance. And your put was easy math, $10. Okay. The stocks only moved $2 or $3 to the upside. Let's call it $3. So your option with a 70 delta should be down around $2 less, right? Ish. Okay. Well, you look at the option price and it's down $4.50. What the heck happened? The market makers sucked the implied volatility out of the puts and dumped it into the calls. And that is the problem that we run into, is where the market maker plays the game with the numbers between the calls and puts, right? So could you take it? Yes, as long as you consider it an aggressive trade. Okay. So bounce back to the 21, not a fib line. Okay. Simple moving average. Yes. Same scenario. Could you have taken it? Yes. So what you're looking at here, this was minus EMAs, Paul, exponential, not simple. But that pushback up in there, yesterday's value, yes, you could have taken it off of that. I'd still consider it a B trade with that once you break to me, once you have a big gap through a standard deviation line, a fib line, you really got to be confident on that move. And I'm not on those big gaps, which is why I tend to stay away from a lot of it. You're welcome, Raj. All right, let's keep going. Pfizer. PFE, not DPFE. And that's Michael is asking for Pfizer. So they finally gave way today. Lowe's went down today because the CFO left to go over to Pfizer. Pfizer was up like 5 cents on it. It was like no big deal today, but not surprising to see them press into a key level. They broke out. Guys, you see the head fake? They broke out 55.70. $55.70. Right? They broke out. Candle number 1 this morning. Woo! Man, we're going to rock on. We got this new CFO. And someone on the next candle goes, who the hell cares? And we just collapse like the rest of the market. Trade the market direction will give you the best opportunity to be profitable in the market, not taking that type of a break and run type trade. All right. And could you have gotten in on the bounce bullish off of that 55.70, maybe on a 1-minute candle? Possibly. Yeah, very well, possibly, but not the type of setup I'm looking for, right? There's the break, there's the retest, there's the bounce. What if we did take the trade? When you broke down here, you're going to have a target that you hit and you're out of that trade, period. Right? So Pfizer, let's go back here. They already did it on Pfizer, Michael. That move up to the 55.70 and fail was everything I would have been looking for today on a Pfizer. Right? So I hope that helped. Jeff's asking for BRCC. Broccoli. No. Let's see. BRC Inc. Too new to have a sector. I mean, Jeff, I've got a very early fib to put, but it's an early life cycle of the stock, right? If we look here, we had this big candle run up, and then there's the pullback right in there. All right, we've got decent move in there too. Doesn't have an average true range yet because it's not around long enough. So I don't really have that answer for it. But 29.20, Jeff, and then 33.15. I'd probably put a fib in there, Jeff, just for good measures. Right? Which symbol trip were you saying wedge? Trader Will said more snow on the way this week. Yeah. Yeah, very much like Grandma's teeth was. So Trip was saying on Micron, was it a wedge? Well, let's do that. Well, I mean, it's hard to gauge off of current price. So I can't really say that's a high or low yet because we haven't closed. Once we close, different story. And we've got tops based on this here, 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah, so I've got that downtrend. If this becomes, so Trip, in this scenario, if this becomes the low of the day, and that's where it already was, then yes, that's what I would set up right in there. Still look for that convex strip we talked about the other day and look for the break from there. Tesla's at a $1,000 whole number. Really? $986.80. Okay, missed it. Roman's asking for Netflix. All right, so where are we? We're in the world of Carmen San Diego. Netflix earnings 419, caution grasshopper, right? So I looked at this one today, Roman. I was wanting to take it to the downside. So we got the 351.46. 351.46. Let's go here. Oh, no one. It's a 1 minute. Let's go back to 5. Okay. So for me, where's the bias? The bias already was bearish. To try to take a bullish trade, I could take it up to the 8 moving average, which puts me at 366. There's decent potential in there, but I'm finding the overall pattern. I'd rather trade it down. Markets are down today. So why not just take advantage of the overall bearish pattern, right? So the S&P right now is down 50 points, we'll call it 49.76. Okay. So on Netflix, my thought was great. Let's see if we can't get the bearish entry. Well, we closed right there and we gapped up. So that doesn't help me any. We closed here. We pushed up, right? Or rather, we opened lower. We dropped a little bit lower and then we pushed up, right? So I didn't have an entry there. This candle right here pushed up and failed. 1 minute gave me an entry there on the 1030. Right? Let's look at 1030. So it was actually back here. No, I thought I had it. I didn't take the trade. Again, crazed with what's going on with our website right now. But I thought we had a retest over here. We did not. We got to close below and then just, where was our high? 350.98. So we're talking about 50 cents away on a $350 stock. So I am not opposed to that as far as I'm concerned, especially on that 1 minute candle. But what we're looking for is that setup, right? And I didn't get the entry, right? For me today, which maybe is best anyway, because it's broken back above. As we look at it now, right? I'm still bearish on it. And regardless, Roman, I would be looking at these bottoms about that 330 as my target. Good. Roman, how cool is that? Roman said, me too. I skipped it for the same reasons. Mindset is in the right place is what it comes down to. Amy, can you drop in the link for tonight's gap class again, please? Roman said, me too. I did a gap on Amazon. How did that work out today, Roman? All right. So guys, Amy just dropped in a link. Tonight is the last one, the last gaps class. Do not miss it. Right. I'm not teaching again now, probably till next year. So if you're interested to learn how to take advantage of gaps, I'm going to teach you some secrets about them tonight, because there are 6 different gap types that we're going to talk about this evening. 15% ROI today on Amazon's gap. There you go, Roman. I love it. Love it. Some of you are concerned because of price. Don't be. Shortly enough, it'll be a much better price. When they do their split, they're 20 for 1, right? Very nice. Lots of opportunity there, both bullish and bearish today. All right, with that, make it a profitable day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, folks, you're just one trade away. Don't miss out on that gaps class. I will see all of you tonight at our next update. Take care. See you then. Bye for now.